All right, guys and gals, thanks for making your way up to LGI. We have an awesome panel here for you guys to listen to today, to take some advice. As you can tell by looking at them, not too much older than you guys. Probably seems for them that just a couple years removed from sitting in the same seats as you. So they're going to talk a little bit about leadership. They're going to tell you a little bit about what they do, because most of them are in non-traditional fields. By that I mean they're not going in office every day, working from 9 to 5. They're creating their own wealth. They're hustling to make ends meet, to show us the endless opportunities that are out there for all of us. So we have 4 guys here today: Kevin O'Laughlin, Taylor Takacs, Doug Raible, and Greg Barr. We're going to turn it over to them. What we're going to do is each of them are going to talk for 5-8 minutes or so. Then we'll open up for questions and answers, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday in preparation. So if you wrote those things down on your phone, you can pull those out. Or if you embedded them in your mind, please ask them questions. They're a wealth of knowledge here to help us. So let's take advantage of this resource. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin.
Nice. Hey guys, I'm Kevin O'Laughlin. I work with Movement Mortgage right here in Pittsburgh. I don't think I can really sit to do this, so I'm a mover, shaker here. So our whole goal here is this. We were going back and forth in an email chain. We're like, all right, no one act like Gary Vee. Do you guys know who Gary Vee is? You see his stuff on Facebook at all? Anybody? So the one thing we all have in common right here is we all work extremely hard. I was in all of your shoes one day, and honestly, I wish I had someone in a class like this, because, I mean, at my high school, it's like you go to this class, that class, you got biology, social studies. All I cared about was a basketball game, football game. You know, I didn't really pay attention to any teachers, honestly. I had good grades, but we really want to share with you today on what happens after high school and what goals do you guys really want to achieve without any sugarcoating or anything, because once you guys get out into the real world, it's not friendly. You got a claw if you really want to achieve big things. And like I said, that's kind of all what we have in common. So I'll give you kind of just a quick background on myself. I'm not from Pittsburgh. I'm from Western New York, and went to a small high school in Western New York, went to a small college in Western New York. What brought me out to Pittsburgh was an opportunity to start a mortgage company. I've only been in the mortgage business 2 years, and honestly, 3 years ago, I didn't even know what a mortgage was. Does anyone in here know what a mortgage is? Raise your hand. Let's get some feedback, interactive. What's a mortgage? Correct. So if you guys want to buy a home one day, you guys will need to get a mortgage. So long story short, I had an opportunity that led me to Movement Mortgage, and I came into Pittsburgh where I didn't know anyone, no family, no connections. Luckily, I know these guys now, and we've been here about 2 years now. We've taken Movement Mortgage from 0 to 100 real quick, quoting Drake, right? 0 to so the average age of a loan officer, those are the people that put these mortgages together, is about 55 years old in the United States, which is absolutely insane. 55 years old. I'm 26 years old, and I am one of the highest producing loan officers in Pittsburgh, and I accomplished that within 2 years. Okay? I really want to touch on, because I don't really want to go too far in my background, it's going to bore you guys, but what can you apply to your lives now that's going to help you achieve whatever you want to achieve? Maybe some of you want to be good at sports. Maybe some of you guys want to be a teacher one day. Whatever it may be, I want to share some tips, what has really helped me go 0 to 100. Okay, so I made a couple notes on my phone here that I want to share with you guys. So the first thing is goal setting. How many of you have goals that you've wrote down on paper? Raise your hand. We got 1, 2. You guys are a step ahead of me. In high school, I didn't have any goals. My goal was to score the most points in basketball and throw the most touchdown passes. That was it. So if you guys have a clear plan and can set goals well, you're well ahead of your time. And just you want to find your passion and set those goals accordingly. So the most important thing too is not to just write down your goals and you throw it on a paper and just kind of throw it away, right? You want to review those goals every single morning and establish your why, right? What's your why? Why do you wake up in the morning and chase after your goals. If you don't have a why established and very specific goals, you're not going to do anything or accomplish anything. Recently, we're doing goal settings for all my salespeople right now. I have about 10 salespeople. He sent in his 1, 3, and 5-year goals, and his goal was to make as much money as possible. I mean, okay, that's great. It's not specific. You have to clearly envision your goals. So I threw it back to him. I said, man, like, what does that mean? That's not a clear objective that we can measure. So I threw it back to him and said, you need to take more time to establish, do you want to make 50,000? Do you want to make 500,000? And then we'll work the plan backwards to make sure we can help you with that. So that's step one that I'd highly recommend is set your goals properly. Other thing real quick is daily discipline. So you guys aren't going to be able to achieve these goals without the discipline daily, right? We can go back to sports. We can go back to losing weight. I mean, whatever it may be, you have to be extremely disciplined. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. I'm trying to do 4, right? So I can get an edge up on my competitors. And you just have to have that daily activity. And when you set your goals, it comes down to, hey, how do I get better at basketball? How do I become a 1,000-point scorer? Well, that's probably, you got to do at least an hour in the gym, 1,000 free throws, 1,000 layups, whatever it may be. So you have to be extremely disciplined when you're attacking your goals. The other thing I put on here is taking calculated risk, right? High risk, high reward is so true. I took a huge jump and came to Pittsburgh. I didn't know anyone, no family, nothing. It was an opportunity, and you will all be faced with opportunities that are going to scare the heck out of you. If you're willing to take a risk, that's when you're going to see the most reward, but it's got to be calculated. I'm not talking like, hey, I'm going to save up $5 grand and go to the casino. You know, it has to be a smart, calculated risk. You all will see that as you're going out of high school, and opportunities will come for you, but it has to be calculated. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on before I pass the mic here is, this is big picture stuff. So every single one of you in this room are extremely lucky. Extremely lucky. I mean, look at this place. My college didn't have anything like this. Like, I want to post up here and do NFL Sunday, and like, this is a beautiful facility. The fact that you have a teacher that's going to put something on like this for you guys is huge, right? I just recently got back 6 months ago from Guatemala, where my company did a mission trip. I've never done anything like that, and it was absolutely life-changing for me. When I'm walking into huts, and there's probably about 8 kids stacked up in a vicinity like this, sleeping on ground floors, and they're looking up at you with a smile, right? They don't have anything like this. The fact that you guys get to wake up and come to school every single day in a facility like this, you guys are way ahead of millions of people in this world. So, like, if I can leave you with anything, just appreciate the opportunity that you have, appreciate your teacher, and you guys can truly accomplish anything you want with those steps that I laid out. Each one of these guys are going to touch on some other stuff too, but like, that's everything that's helped me succeed at a young age. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. We'll pass the mic to Mr. Taylor.
All right, thanks, Kevin. How's everyone doing today? All right, that's better than I expected. Wasn't too long ago I was in high school. All right, so I'm Taylor Takis, and I'm going to talk to you today about what I find. There's so much I want to share with you, but I only have limited time. I'm going to talk to you about success, and particularly habits, because that's what I find to be the best way to achieve success over an extended period of time. I hear you guys can use phones now, so I'm going to use mine to cheat here and use some notes. But the very first thing that you got to do, hard work. There's no way around it. There's just not. You get out what you put in. If you're at Dairy Queen, right? You're up at Dairy Queen, you see the sign, and there's this blizzard. And you go, oh, I'm going to get one of those. And you go up to the lady at the desk. You go, yeah, I'll take one of those. She goes, okay. She goes back and she starts throwing all these things in a blender, like wood chips and paper towels and mulch. And you're like, whoa, hang on, I wanted one of those. She's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll throw all this in and it'll magically turn into that blizzard that you want, right? No, that doesn't work that way. So we all know this, but somehow we're confused whenever we're sleeping in till 1 p.m. and not doing anything to move us towards our goals, right? So it starts with hard work. It's the very first thing. From there, repetition and consistency. You can't just do something one time and expect success. It doesn't work that way. The compound effect, which I'm sure you've all heard or to some extent, if you just work, and in fact it was in the book I believe that you guys are reading, right? If you just improve 1% per day, say you're at 100% and each day for 50 days you improve 1%. In 50 days you're not at 150% because on day 1 where you improve 1% you're at 101%. But on day 2, 1% of 101% is not just an extra 1%. It's 1% and that tiny little bit extra. And that tiny little bit extra makes all the difference over the long run. Whenever it's not just 50 days, but 50 years, that tiny little percentage turns into a huge amount. So that's important. Similarly, I'm sure you guys have heard the old, an apple a day keeps the doctor away saying, right? Same thing. And it's simple to do, but why don't we do it, right? Or did the guy mess up the saying? Was it something like, it should have been, what? A Hershey bar a day keeps the doctor. Is that what it's supposed to be? No. We all know these things, but it's easy to get away from. So you have to do things consistently. Similarly, you have to be persistent. You can't just give up at the first sign of failure because failure is going to come before success. You're not just going to immediately be successful and great at everything that you do. I don't know about anyone else here, but did anyone just jump up and walk out of the hospital the day you were born? No, of course not. You had to learn how to walk. I'm sure you fell a lot of times. I don't remember learning to walk, but I can guarantee you I didn't just jump up and walk one day. So you have to be persistent, keep practicing, be willing to fail on your way to success. Also, because of this, you can't do a million things at one time. Not well, at least. You have to actually focus and simplify. Just like in school, you didn't walk into math class in first grade and they weren't just like, all right, today we're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and we'll throw in some geometry, trigonometry, pre-calc. No, you started with addition, you built on it. But you had to focus at first, learn one thing, get good at it, and move on from there. This is one of my favorite ones here. Your thinking is so important. So important. I can't overemphasize that. Because if you're telling yourself every day, oh, I'm no good, I'm not good enough, that's the attitude you're going to have. Everyone's going to be able to pick up on that. The people you're meeting with every day, that you're talking to, everyone's going to pick up on that. And you're going to start to believe that yourself as well. A huge percentage, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something well over 50% of our thoughts are subconscious. And that's just the little voice in your head that's talking day in, day out. If you're telling yourself, I'm no good, I'm not good enough, versus if you're telling yourself, yeah, I got this, I can do this, what do you think the difference is going to be? It's a big difference, I can tell you that. One more thing that I think is vital on the road to success is putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I'm not talking like go walking through the hood at 1 a.m. on a Saturday. That's not the sort of uncomfortable situation I mean. But that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is put yourself in uncomfortable situations that make you grow. If you're afraid of public speaking, for example, work on that. You know, when I go to sit down with investors and talk to them, these guys, hey, why they should give me hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy the house that I'm going to renovate and resell, why they have that opportunity. It's not exactly comfortable. Yeah, of course, I'm a little nervous. but I know that's going to make me grow, make me better, and that's what's required for success, because as you do it persistently, time and again, you get better at it. So make sure, I would highly recommend, anytime you get a chance to be in an uncomfortable situation that's going to make you better, take it. This is one that I wish I would have known in high school. I wish I would have thought about it more. Going back to thinking, I just hadn't thought about this much. But your environment, you are your environment, right? If you think about where ideas come from, right? Where you come up with ideas, it's from your environment. The people you meet and interact with, the books that you read. Very rarely do you just get an original idea that didn't come from something in your environment. It always comes from someone around you, something you read, and that's extremely important. I think it's Jim Rohn that says something along the lines, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So ask yourself, who the 5 people you spend time with the most? Are they helping you achieve your goals? Or are they pushing you further away from your goals? Because it's one or the other. And if you really want success, you got to think about that. And the last thing here before I pass the mic off to Doug that I want to touch on, it's the power of words. Words are vital. Just imagine trying to communicate with someone without being able to speak. If you've ever come across someone who doesn't speak English, speaks a different language, you probably know this already. How difficult is it to communicate with them? Extremely difficult. But words are so powerful, even just small differences in words. For me, home versus property can be the exact same thing, right? You don't tell your teacher, oh, I left my gym shoes at my property, right? No, that'd just be weird. It's home. But is it wrong to say property? No. But it conveys a very different meaning to the person that you're speaking to. So with that, I'm going to pass the microphone off to Doug here, and I'm sure he's got some great stuff. Thanks for letting me be here, guys. Really appreciate it.
Good stuff, brother.
Thank you.
I could just clip it on my tie.
Yeah.
What you know about it? Yeah. How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me in today. I appreciate the chance to get to speak to everybody. So when it comes to me, most people kind of consider me like the money guy. That's more or less what I've branded myself over the years. And I want to talk about a few things, but first I want to take a quick poll. Who here has a part-time job? Okay, awesome. So a lot of you guys are already working. That's fantastic. Keep your hands up. How many of you would still make money if you stopped working today? Okay, most of them went down. So what I focus on is a concept called making money work for you. And when I was your guys' age, I had a part-time job. I actually had 2. So I was always kind of the money-hungry kid. I was working multiple jobs, 60 hours in the summer. And I loved it because I was making money, but I really didn't have a real social life. I mean, I was able to hang out with people, but my time was very limited. So I started looking, I was like, is there any way that I could actually make money without working my face off? And I started learning about something called investing. And when I was your guys' age, about 18 is when I made my first investment, and I started investing in the stock market. And it blew my mind. It was an idea that I could literally put money somewhere, not do anything, and it will either increase in value or make me an income. So I was like, this is insane. How has everyone not focused their life on this? So I became dedicated to that concept pretty much every day since. I grew up in North Huntington. I went to school at Norwin. And like I said, I started investing when I was about your guys' age. Went to school at Pitt. And at school there, I also wanted to get into other forms of investing. So I started getting into real estate. I've done everything from sales to flips to rental properties. I expanded into lending money out to people to make interest as well. And whenever I graduated, my end goal was always to help people understand money. I loved the idea that I was able to put myself in a financially secure future, and I wanted to help other people do it. So I started a financial practice, and I've been fortunate enough to be ranked in the top advisors in the country every year since. I finally reached my last goal this year, which is to start investing and buying companies. So it was always my end goal to just have anything I wanted. If I liked a certain food, I want to own that company. If I like a certain car, I want to own that car company. So I'm getting to a point now where I can invest in companies around the city. And concept that I always used was living broke to get rich. And I'm going to go through that in a couple minutes here, but first I want to chat about, they've all said it, the word passion. So I want you guys to take some time today and go home and think, what would you be willing to do every single day for the rest of your life for free? And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's painting. I don't care if you're an engineer. I don't care if you're a freaking basket weaver. If you can be the best basket weaver in the world and you'll make a lot of money. So find out what it is that you would love to do every single day for free and focus every single ounce of your time on that. Nothing else. I don't care about what your friends say about it. I don't care what your teachers say about it or your parents. You want to focus on whatever makes you happy and be the best at it, because it's so difficult to become a success. There's so many obstacles, there's so many things coming in your way that if you don't love it, you're not going to be willing to go through all the hard times. So that passion is something that's extremely important to people. And unfortunately, a lot of people tend to focus on what others say or whatever people think is cool. What's on Instagram? What's everybody doing today? I'm going to do that. Or I heard that you can make a lot of money doing this. I'm going to do that. It's not the right answer. If you're concerned about money as I was, you're still going to make a ton of money if you're the best at something. So that's my first point of advice. Next, I want to talk about money management. And that's obviously my world, as I help people manage their money. When you're young, you have no concerns. You're living at home. You don't have a ton of bills. This is the perfect time to start experimenting with things. If you lose money, you have the whole rest of your life to make it back. You make it back in your next paycheck. You don't have a family to take care of. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have a car expense, right? So this is a great opportunity for you guys to start experimenting and finding ways that you can have money work for you. And I would suggest just taking some time and start learning about something that you would be interested in. So there's tons of things in the news. You can make money doing pretty much anything, right? You can invest in the stock market, real estate, you can loan money out, you could start businesses, you could buy Bitcoin. There's so many different things out there that people are talking about, right? And they see someone getting rich doing something, so they're like, oh, I'm just gonna follow that. Dumbest idea ever. Someone's gonna get rich doing something no matter what. Focus on something that you understand and that you like. So maybe if you're very hands-on and you like building things, or you like design, or you like landscaping, focus on real estate. It's a great opportunity for people to make money that understand that craft. Or if you're an analytical person, you like the tech side of things and you like numbers, focus on some of the financial markets, right? Learn about the stock market. If you start taking care of your money today, I promise you every single one of you will be a millionaire at some point in your life. It's not difficult to get there, it just takes time. So moving on to that thought process, I would suggest, as I said, that you kind of follow something that you understand, start stashing some money aside, and the biggest thing is don't worry about having the coolest clothes, the coolest car. I want to take a quick poll. I'm going to give you guys two options. Option one, you get to buy a brand new Chevy Cruze every single day for the next 5 years. Option number two, you drive a piece of crap turd for the next 5 years, but you get a brand new Ferrari. Raise your hand if you'd select option one. Okay, awesome. Everybody selects option two. So that's the concept that I live by, is I like the idea of living broke today to live the best life that people can imagine tomorrow. It's called delay of gratification. Essentially the idea of just working your face off, saving everything that you can, focusing everything on your future, and when you get it, you're going to live the best life that you can imagine. So when it comes to money, I found that that's actually the biggest stress cause in people's lives. So that's why it was my goal, is I wanted to, one, focus on what's the worst thing that could happen to me? How can I protect against that? And two, how can I put myself in a financial situation that at the very worst, I'm just going to have a bad day, right? I'm not going to be concerned over it. I'm not going to, get sick over it or lose sleep over it, right? It's a great feeling, and I'm telling you, every single day will be a lot better when you take that stress out of your life. So that's the concept of kind of figuring out what you want to do. Learning about money early. Start investing early. You'll be in a way better position than any of your friends or family if you start today. And the last is for college planning, being that you guys are, what, juniors? Any seniors in here? Okay, so you're thinking about college. I went to school at the University of Pittsburgh. I commuted all 4 years and worked jobs and started businesses so that I didn't have to take out any school loans. I see so many people, especially my age, coming out of school, negative 60,000, negative 80,000, to then find a job to make 30,000 to hopefully pay that back when they're 60. It just doesn't make sense to me. So if you can start a business for whatever that passion is, or find a way to do it without school, honestly, I would suggest trying that first. You can always go back to school later. If you have a craft that you need to go through school, like if you're gonna be an attorney or if you're gonna be a doctor, yeah, like you have to go to school. So go through that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't go to college. But if you're gonna go to school, find the cheapest way possible that you can go there. So either commuting the first couple years, at the end of the day, your freshman year, the classes are gonna be pretty much the same across the board. They're gonna transfer to whatever university you wanna go to. And also, people are like, I might miss out on that experience. I went to every single college you can imagine on the weekends, except I got to do it for free. They paid the bill and I stayed there. So it's not a big deal. You'll still get those experiences. Find a way to make college as inexpensive as possible. And as you're going, you're gonna take a couple years to really understand and learn what it is that you wanna do. And then you can utilize that at whatever the best school is that you wanna go to. So you'll cut the price in half while also not making the mistake of going through something just because your friends said that they wanna go there. So that's kind of my little life tips, I guess, that I could offer you guys. As you know, Kevin said, you guys have literally the world in your hands. The internet is an amazing thing right now. Social media is an amazing thing if you utilize it properly. Focus on what it is that you want to do every single day for free. Start thinking smart about your money and just continue to do, like he said, drill down on what's going to make you successful every single day, and eventually you'll get there. It's not going to be today, it's not going to be next year, but you're going to look back on 5 years from now and be like, wow, I'm really, really happy I did that. So I appreciate you guys having me in today, and I hope that you found some value from our talks.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Good job.
Good job.
Some pretty awesome advice for you guys in moving forward here. We're going to open up for some questions now. So if you have specific questions to one of the guys, certainly you can address them or generally throw it out there and get some feedback that we can learn from. Sorry, Jake.
All right. My first question is actually for Doug. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
I figured that I'd get that at some point. So for me, when I look at investing, first thing is I only invest in things that I understand, right? Like I said, there's several different ways that people can make a ton of money in this world. If I don't understand it, that's fine. You guys get rich over there. I'll focus on my thing. I did start recently learning about Bitcoin. I'm not going to say I'm a master by any means. Really, I look at things that have value. So Bitcoin doesn't really have a value. It's just a way of transacting, and if that's not taken to the marketplace, it has zero value and it can crash. Essentially, it could be a mirage. So that's the risk at hand. As I see the world as a whole, everything's going cyber. I mean, Amazon's creating stores that you literally go into without a wallet, without employees, that you click buttons, buy things, it knows what you're gonna buy, and you put your phone over it. So do I see that there could potentially be value in that? Yeah, it seems like the world's shifting there. I wouldn't call it an investment. I'd call it what's called speculation, which is almost like gambling, but I would rather throw my money on something like that than to go to the roulette table. So if you're thinking about putting money into it, I would suggest, yeah, you can do that, but find an amount of money that's not going to affect your standard of living whatsoever, that you're not going to care. Just consider you lost it today. It's already gone. And then if you make 100,000 from it, that's awesome. That'd be my advice.
Don't be shy. We don't bite.
I'll ask you a question. All right. So, just anyone that feels comfortable answering this.
Oh, I might take this one.
Define success in your own terms based off what you have learned and like what have you experienced.
All right, Gray, I'll take you up on that.
I was given strict orders that I'm not allowed to speak, so this is it. So
Let's go down the line.
I'll, so I mean, it's, here we go. Let's hold these up together. So I guess it kind of, it goes back to your passion, right? So like my thing was always, your success is money. And after you make money, a lot of money, it's kind of like, okay, that's cool, I have money, but what did I really do, right? So I guess there isn't a clear answer that's going to be different for everyone. Some people may find success in basket weaving. you know? And I've kind of changed to where now what's success for me is bringing potential out of people that they never saw before. So like I have a team of sales guys that I had one guy last year, he made $30,000 last year. In the month of December, he'll make $35,000, right? That changed his life. And he is so thankful. I had another guy, similar situation, his family was missing bills. And just his job with our company has completely changed his life. And those people coming to you and being so thankful, like, Kevin, this is what you did for me. That's success for me, but it's going to be different for everybody. It's not all money. It's not about who's got the best clothes. And maybe in high school, success is defined as like, hey, the athletes, who's the most popular. I'll tell you right now, and when I went to high school, the people that were the most popular and were the best ballers, they're not making any money. They're not doing anything. They're still at home, probably have 4 kids at age 20, nothing against that, but like they didn't achieve their goals or dreams that people thought. So it's going to be different for every person. I hope that answers.
Yeah, I'll say the very first thing you have to do is define what success is for you. And that's not for anyone else. Not what society tells you, not what your parents tell you or your friends tell you. You got to figure out what it is that you want to do. Because for some people, it may be money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that might not be what really makes you happy. If you enjoy swimming in the ocean in the sunshine, you might want to go live in Thailand and surf every day and live in a clay hut. I mean, maybe that's what you want to do. If that's success to you, it might not be success to your buddy sitting to the right or left of you, but if that's success to you, that's probably what you should do then, because that's what's going to make you happy. So hopefully that helps.
To me, I look at success in a couple different ways. I focus a lot on kind of the lifestyle of Warren Buffett. If anybody's heard of him, he's a pretty rich guy. And I kind of live by his morals, and he says that he measures success based off of how many people are happy that he's in their life. And I think that's a pretty cool concept in the sense of how many lives have you touched, what positive impact are you making on society as a whole. So from 100 feet up, very broad, I would kind of say that would be my answer for success. But as these guys said, success is very customized to the individual. So if your goal is to make $10 million before you die and you make it, then you're a success. That's great. Like, you reached your goals. If your goal is, like you said, to go surf somewhere for the rest of your life, that's cool. You've reached it. But the one thing that people don't touch on is never bring down somebody else because you think that they're not a success, because they might have hit what they think is their goal. So somebody might be broke, but they're extremely happy. They're doing what they want to do every day, and they feel good about that. And a lot of times society will be like, they're a clown. They didn't make it. They're a bum, right? You know, they might not be. So that's the one thing, is success is different for every single person. Focus on kind of being the best that you can at your craft. And once you hit that, I would consider myself a success if I reach that.
As like business owners and leaders in your like community, how do you motivate not only yourself but the others that you're working with around you?
It's $1 million question. Okay. I guess I volunteer myself.
Since you volunteered there.
It's tough, man. I want to beat my salespeople over the head some days. You know, they all come to me like, hey, I want to make 6 figures. I show them what to do that, and they don't perform the daily activities. So there's no clear-cut answer. It's a lot of it that works for me personally is reading like self-help books. We're all big readers. I think it's a common trait upon people that are trying to push the limits, and just a positive mindset, right? I cannot stand negative people. If someone says I can't do something, don't even talk to me. I don't even want you in my inner circle. So like, I think Doug or Taylor had mentioned, I believe it was Taylor, about whoever's your 4 closest friends. If you sit around and you gossip and you're negative, you're not going to do much in this world. It's all about positivity is one of the most powerful things. So, I don't know if anyone else wants to.
Yeah, I'll add to that. That's a great question, And it's a tough one too. I struggle all the time, every single day, with contractors, trying to motivate them, keeping them on task, on schedule. And I think what it comes down to touch on what Kevin said a little bit, reading, learning, everybody's going to respond a little bit differently. And your job as a leader is to find and to learn the ways that each of your different people that you're leading learns best. Because some people are going to respond better to one form of motivation than another. Not everyone's going to respond to the straight, just scream and yell, get in their face. If you don't do this, you're in trouble. I'm going to kill you. That doesn't work for everyone. So some people, that may work. That may be what you have to do for some people. But the important part is you have to find out what works best for each person. And that takes some time, some wisdom, and some experience. So the quicker you can learn, the better.
So based on motivation, on a psychological level, people are motivated by one of two things: fear or gain, right? I guess you could call it greed as well. There's really two concepts with bigger businesses, and everybody's aware of Steve Jobs. He kind of had the fear one, that if you don't do this exactly right, you're gone tomorrow. It obviously worked to a degree for him, but I'm a bigger fan of the positivity, which is the second one. You guys are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He's always preaching positivity and kind of empathy and building a culture. I think that you can motivate people by taking the time to really learn who they are and how you can customize something to them. So if I have a business and I know that somebody's extremely analytical and they don't really want to talk to people, I'll literally say, you could sit at home, do your thing, run these numbers, do this. If someone's very creative and they need to be around people or they need to have this certain skill set and environment, that's fine. Wherever you find that people can do their best work, find a way to put them in that environment, and then just to continue to preach that positivity each day, because like we said, it's very difficult to kind of reach that level of success regardless. There's a lot of hard times in that journey. So if you can kind of continue to keep them motivated in whatever fashion that you see would work specifically for them. I don't think there's one just answer that works for every single person.
I might add something to that here. We have to press anything?
Uh-oh.
And it's going to be a real simple word, and it's respect. If somebody respects you, then it's easy to motivate them. But the only way to have somebody respect you is, can you hear, I'm sorry, is to show them respect. So it's a mutual respect thing, and if you can accomplish that, respect everybody for what they have to offer, and in turn you'll get respect, and you'll be able to motivate people easily, okay?
Directly or indirectly, all of you guys have mentioned certain habits, success with people, whether it be reading. I think it was Kevin, you mentioned getting up at 5 a.m., which is, you're on social media and you're looking at people who motivate other people. They talk about getting up, getting an edge on your competition. What are some other successful traits or habits that you guys implement on a daily basis that have helped you in the business world in your just evolution as a person?
Yeah, that's a great question. The morning routine is a big one for me. Just like Kevin said, he's up at 5. I'm up early as well, a little bit before 4 usually, at the gym at 4:45. A morning workout, for me, that's getting some sort of exercise in the morning. I feel way better. When you're putting in a long day, 15 plus hours, whatever, and come the end of the day, if you've had a workout already done in the morning, feel a million times better. I'm sure these guys will all agree with me as well. So some sort of physical exercise, I think, is important. Eating right, as simple as that sounds, and again, it's the simple things here that you do over and over that's what's going to be great. Eat right. At your age, you might be okay. You might be able to get away with it, but as you get older, you'll find that what you put into your body actually matters. It does. Like if you eat a real heavy meal that's really greasy the night before, when you wake up, I mean, you feel it. It's not, you need to actually eat well, eat healthy. Those are the biggest things. It's the simple stuff. Eat right, exercise, sleep. It's important. Find the right amount that works for you, but don't oversleep because you can't be wasting too much time. That's what I got.
A big one for me, obviously, I agree with everything Taylor said, and then also I really like to watch a video at some point in the day. You kind of sometimes say it's like 4 o'clock, you feel yourself kind of dozing off, you're like, I'm going to stop doing my homework, or I'm just going to chill. I'm like, man, I need to get pumped up. You know, like, going back to his point earlier, is like trying to relate to your question on how there's something different that motivates everyone. So like me, I'm like a rah-rah guy. Like I'll put on some DMX, start just doing one of these. And like on the way here, I was blasting DMX. I like to watch some just simple motivation video for a minute or two, and then I click back into my mindset. So like Tony Robbins, people are like that, are big on that, and it's changing your state is the biggest thing. So if you're lounged back like this, you're hanging out, and then it's like, boom, let's go. You know what I mean? We changed the state just like that. I think now I'm like ready to go. So you got to be able to change your state quickly, and that's one thing that's always worked really well for me. Just a simple video, kick it back in gear, and knock your day out. So.
I don't know if I can follow that one. I might just pass the mic down. I'm not just going to reiterate the same things they said. They're all 100% right. For me, I actually like to find basically a mentor, and I try to follow the most successful people. So I'd say, like I said, Warren Buffett's probably my biggest mentor, but I've never met him. There's enough content that you could find somebody that you really look up to and just kind of follow what they do. Right, so if you want to be, the best real estate person, if you want to be the best business person, the best scientist, whatever it is, follow what they did. Right, if it worked for someone else, it could probably work for you, and then just kind of reverse engineer and find a way how can you put that into your daily life. So for me, I actually put a ton of value on sleep. I honestly don't get up very early. Like, this is early for me. Not gonna lie. That's just how I am. But I put a ton of time in just kind of like not relaxing, but just sitting and thinking. So for me, obviously, I kind of have to understand how people think and how the world's shifting in order to make investments. So I put a ton of time in just trying to think, like, how does this work? How is this connected to this? How can I potentially take advantage of an opportunity? So I would just say, kind of find some peace and quiet and just more or less think about what it is that you want to accomplish that day, what you want to accomplish long term, and consistently do that daily would be my point of advice there.
I did, but I think you answered that. As these individuals embark on the next phase of their life, what were some of those, you mentioned, some of those essential skills, whether it's public speaking, get out of your comfort zone. That was my question I addressed.
Yeah, so I'm a big one on this. I think there's a couple skills that everyone your age needs to have. The first is actually communication's huge, whether it's online or in person. You need to find a way to get your point across, but also to understand other people's perspective. So communication is massive. I think if people learned how to communicate better, there'd be much less conflict in the world. So I think that's huge. Also, like I said, money management. I don't care what career you're going into, money's going to be a part of it, whether it's $1, a Bitcoin, or sheep. Like, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a currency involved. So you need to understand how the money system works, how the tax system works, and how you can utilize that in your life. Some other skills is, like he said, respect. If you could find a way to only have friends in your life, life will be a lot easier than having only enemies. So just kind of people skills, I guess you could say. And last is going to be technology skills for you guys. Everybody needs to understand how can you utilize, whether it be social media, whether it be coding, just research and development, finding ways that you can use technology, because that's going to be in your life 10 times more than it was for us.
Is that the bell?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, we are? Okay. All right, I'll make it quick. I think the one thing that will help you tremendously is learn to sell, because you're always selling. When I'm buying a house from someone, I'm selling them on why I'm the best option for them, why I'll be the solution to their problem. When you're asking your parents on Friday night, hey, I need to take the car, you're selling them on why they should let you take the car. You're always selling, always. And that's not just from a financial perspective. Everything you do, you're selling someone, you don't even realize it, and you're selling someone. So that's a huge skill set that I think will help you out.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up, guys. I'll reiterate people skills. I read something on the way in here that said, it was online, I think Gary Vee posted it, it said the 4.0 students make great employees. And it just kind of made me laugh because that's like, it relates to me. But you don't have to have the perfect grades, but you have to be able to motivate people, lead people, and connect with people and communicate with people. If you can master that, you don't have to know everything in the book, every regulation, every guideline. If you want to be a huge success, you'll see a lot of the people are just good at winning friends. If you have a huge friend group, that's going to relate to a network for you for the rest of your life. So go out, experience life, build relationships, and that will get you literally anywhere. So.
So I want to say thank you for these 3 young guys coming here. I'm double their age, and I've learned something from every one of these guys. So mentoring is huge. You can learn something from everybody, okay? Take them for what they're worth and learn something. We also had a gentleman who's even, I think, a year younger, the same age as you guys. He was unable to make it. He's actually doing a speaking event in Las Vegas right now. So he's on a plane. He had sent a video. He wanted to be here to speak with you folks. Couldn't make it, so he took his time. Doug's actually involved in the company that helped record the YouTube video. And this is Ryan Shalaba. And well, you can go ahead and play that.
I'm going to run this for you guys. If any of you need to take a test or go to third period, you can do that. If not, I'll get you past the end of the third period. Now, so this is Ryan. This is cooler than third period. What's that?
What's that?
Good seeing you, buddy.
Me too.
Good seeing you again.
I'll see.
See you, Bill.
Just real quick, guys, if you may, because I have to restart this throws up. Right at the end, you talked a little bit about networking. I think a lot of times we as adults, we understand